What is going on, guys? Paul Ryan back at it again. I hope everybody's having a good night. Here we are 2 days into free agency, and it's safe to say the Cowboys are being selectively aggressive. I know Stephen Jones quoted, or rather not quoted, but stated that the Cowboys would be aggressive, but selectively aggressive. And I think it's fair to say after 2 days they've been exactly that. Uh, Probably the most substantial moves or moves that they didn't make so far is not bringing back Jordan Lewis. And I hate to see him go, man. The secondary is in bad shape as it stands today, but at $10 million per year, I'm not saying Jordan Lewis isn't worth that, but for this team, him going into, I think this is last year was his ninth year, going into year 10, and he just kind of had a career year. I don't know. I don't hate the Cowboys for not bringing him back, but at the same time, I do wonder. Got to ask myself, did they even make an offer? What were the negotiations like? Because again, you look at the secondary. Trayvon Diggs going to be recovering from a very serious injury. We talked about it Sunday night on the pod how they're having to do experimental type of like procedures and surgeries and things on Trayvon Diggs trying to rebuild cartilage in his knee, and that's pretty scary, man. I mean, you hear stuff like that, and you kind of ask yourself, will Trayvon Diggs ever play football again? Hopefully that's not the case, right? I'm not trying to predict that. I'm not trying to state that. I'm not trying to make that assumption, but that's just kind of where my mind went when I heard that. It's like, man, this potentially that could be like a career-ending type of thing. This guy might not ever play again. Again, will that be the case? I hope not. I haven't heard anything like that. I don't think that it will be, but that again, that's just where my mind went. But again, back to Jordan Lewis, losing him, it stinks, man. But I'm curious to see what Kalen Carson, what he has, and I think there's still some good guys out there on free agency. I know somebody brought up Asante Samuel Jr. That was somebody that um, we talked about. I believe it was our first year in the pod. Is somebody that both Mike and I liked quite a bit. He's a smaller guy, but he's a good slot corner. Jordan Lewis, man, we just lost our slot corner. Asante Samuel, somebody who I know from what I understand, it had a bad year last year, but prior to that, had been a pretty solid corner in the NFL. Maybe we could bring him in on a cheap deal, and the Stephen Jones special, like a 1 year prove it type of deal. Then you have Bland and Asante Samuel Jr. I feel pretty good about that, and then you don't necessarily have to go out and use significant draft resources on a rookie. Now I say that. I guess I shouldn't say I would be too mad if the Cowboys were to go out and get the best corner in the draft with their first round pick, but I would be a lot happier if they could find a guy who, maybe on day two, with their second round pick or their third round pick, or if they did select a cornerback in the first round, maybe they did a trade back and they were able to acquire some more draft assets, right? But that's a conversation for another day. As far as what the Cowboys have done, again, they have been selectively aggressive. They lose Chauncey Golston. That's, you know, at the number that he was lost at, it's kind of head scratching as to why maybe the Cowboys didn't try to bring him back or match that type of deal. But you look at this draft class, and there's a lot of defensive tackles. I know that Golston offered some versatility. He could play defensive end and he could play defensive tackle. From somebody stated that he could line up on every spot on the defensive line, and when you have a guy like that, it's always valuable. But we have Osa, we have Mozzie, we have Marshawn Nealon, and of course Sam Williams is going to be returning from injury, and then also Micah Parsons. So I hate to see Golston go because I do think that there's another level to his game, maybe a tier or two more that we could see him turn into. But I do think that he is probably, for the most part, just a rotational player at best. I don't know if he'll ever be a starter. And at $19.5 million, I think that was the total of his contract. Yeah, the Cowboys maybe should have matched that, but I think we could probably find a guy in the draft, and I would rather use that type of money. I know we just brought back Kevontae Turpin, similar deal. I believe it was 18 million to bring back Kevontae Turpin. Yeah, I think I'd rather have Turpin. To be totally honest, I think I'd rather have the second round pick over Kevontae Turpin. But if we bring Turpin back, maybe we'll be able to use him a lot more in this offense with this new scheme. That's at least what I'm hoping for. I was hoping we'd see that last year. Of course, that wasn't the case, but we did see glimpses of what Kevontae Turpin could do at receiver. And you talk about receiver, there's still some receivers out there that are free agents. Of course, there's the biggest name that's going to be available soon would be Cooper Kupp. Somebody been rumored to the Cowboys bringing him in. Hey, you got to be excited about that. So after 2 days, the Cowboys address the running back position, bringing in Javonte Williams? Is he an upgrade over Rico Dowdle? No, I know he had a disappointing year last year, and coming back from that ACL, he hasn't looked like the same player. But again, a Cowboys special, you bring him in on a 1 year cheap deal. I believe it was 1 year, $3 million, something like that. You give yourself that insurance policy, and that doesn't stop you from going out and adding another running back in the draft. But now you're just not forced to use your first or second round pick on a running back, because you've got a veteran presence there who, if there's no guys there in the draft that don't really care for, then hey, you've got Javonte Williams, and you've got Deuce Vaughn, and I'd imagine another running back that they might sign if need be. But you're not trying to force your hand and take a running back that just because you need to fill a hole. They address the offensive line, and they adjust the defensive tackle position with Solomon Thomas, who's going to be probably your third stringer, and then of course bringing back Osa. So after 2 days, if I had to grade the Cowboys free agency, I would say it's a C minus, only because they restructured Dak's contract, they restructured CeeDee Lamb's contract, and they didn't really bring in any players of note. And I know that's what a lot of us were expecting. A lot of us, at least, were hoping. I shouldn't say expecting, but a lot of us were hoping when you create that kind of salary cap space, you think that you might go out there and get a tier one or tier two type of free agent to come in and not only just fill a hole, fill a void, but to be a difference making player. We haven't seen a player get signed like that yet, but time will tell what the Cowboys will do. Again, we still have a lot of cap space left, but if I had to give the Cowboys a grade as far as after 2 days of free agency, I'm going to say C minus. Let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about the Cowboys moves that they've been? At least they've been aggressive early first 2 days, not signing any players of note, of course, but let me know what you guys think. It's nice to see them be active. Do you think the Cowboys have more moves to make? Is there some players out there in free agency that you hope the Cowboys will bring in? Leave some names in the comments. Let me know what positions you think the Cowboys still need to address. And as always, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm Paul Ryan. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.